Hey guys, we have this engine. It's a Briggs & Stratton Quantum, and it's come off this mower. Now I purposely bought this mower just for the engine because that's going to be transplanted onto another deck. So that came off, but it's been left out in the rain, and sadly I snapped one of the 3 bolts there. So we're going to try and get it off. I'm going to apply some heat, some acetone and ATF. I'll talk a bit more about that, and we'll see if we can get it moving. It should move, but I don't think it's going to be easy. Let's get you set up and we'll get right into it. So I've got 2 things that are going to help us out: heat and a combination of 50% acetone to 50% ATF. And this stuff's really good. In fact, both of them together are fantastic. So I'm going to pop some heat on to that bolt, and then once it's nice and hot, I'm going to douse it with ATF. I'm going to repeat that 3 or 4 times, and then I'm going to let it soak for about 15 minutes. Then we'll come back and we'll try and put some pliers on there. It's really important, I can't emphasize this enough, slow and steady wins the race. You do not need a really hot flame and going crazy on it. It's much better to have a more gentle flame, more localized heat, especially considering we have oil seals in the area and we've got plastic components, which we just want to be very careful of. The fuel tank. The fuel tank's empty, guys. Just bear that in mind. it's not full. And now we'll put a drop of ATF on there, and we're going to repeat this over and over. I'm not concerned about the powder coat that you can see is flaking off. That's going to be scraped off with a wire wheel or a wire brush, and then I'm going to repaint it anyway. I want to make sure that there's no heat around this oil seal down here. It doesn't look like it's leaking, so I don't want to damage it. The heat is getting to about there, about this drain plug. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, it's warm, it's hot, but it's not burning hot. We're going to repeat that process. We're going to warm it up. Again, slow and steady. Let that seep in. Bit more oil. And we're just So it's pretty hard to hold the camera and do it by hand, but we've got just very, very lightly touch the surface. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But we've got 2 flats either side now, and I'm going to try and bring the heat back up again, and then we'll put the vice grips on and we'll see if we can get it out. You can see, guys, it's just slipping right off. Sadly, the last option is drilling it out. So you know what, I've decided, let's give this a go. Honestly, I'm not having much hope. I'm not holding out much hope, especially as the good size that I need is broken for this size bolt. But it doesn't hurt to try that first and then go from there. Now, they actually supply you with these drill bits, but I don't think they're going to be very good. These are actually left-handed or reverse drill bits too. They cut in the left direction rather than the right direction. So, let's try that first. If they're junk, I've got some good quality bits. This is not cutting fluid, but it will be fine. That's what I've got on hand. Oh, I think we can get that. That was lucky, wasn't it? So what we're going to do, I don't think it's going to work, it's very much set in there, but we'll just tap it in. The thing I don't want to do is to break this bit in there. If this breaks in there, if that breaks in there, then we really are stuffed. Now we could just try one more time with that big easy out, now that I've got the hole really nice and deep. Try that one. What about the smaller one first? You can just feel it, it's just not budging at all. Put that one there. Fits lovely there. Now, can we get the nut on the other side? That's the question. Because there's not a huge amount of space. Yes, of course we can. And that is the job done. Sadly, not the result I was hoping for in terms of, I'd hoped to be able to get that out, but it was very well stuck in there. So yeah, sadly we had to resort to that. I'm going to now give this a quick blow off and I'll show you exactly what we've ended up with. I hope the bolt pattern's the same. If it's not, I'll just save it for another machine. Let's see if we can get this to work. Goes onto there like that. There. There. Lovely jubbly. Woo. Just leave it there for now. Lovely. Nice and smooth. And then on the other side, rock it back over, put the bolt on. Wind it back. Some tools are just so useful to have. It's just, they're worth their weight in gold. They really are. Alright, that should be a 17 in the end there. Out it comes. Sorry guys, you died on me there and I didn't know where you've actually cut out. I looked at the phone and you were off. So I'm going to tell you what I've done. I took the old carrier off and I tried to put this one on and it didn't fit. It was too small. So then I looked at this one and I realized it's actually the right design to carry the blade that was already on the old mower engine that failed. So I then put it up side by side and noticed that it was too wide, just slightly. This one was a bit narrower. And so I got my die grinder, I cut it off to the right thickness over here. And all I did was I put it upside down and I drilled this big lag screw in all the way and held it in place, and I was able to cut off they're basically the lips that came up the side. That's all it was. And now, look at it now. Popped it back on. Put this in place. The right way up. That goes on beautifully like that. Get our little bolt. And that is an engine replacement carrier modification. I need to zip it up with the drill. And bolt removal, all in one video. That's a crazy long video. So there we go. Engine work just started on this mower. I'll zip that up and I'll show you what it looks like with the handlebar and the catchers in place. All right, well, let's put a little drop of fuel down the throat. We'll just give it a quick spin, see if she starts. See if there's any horrible noises, and then I'll pan you out and show you what it looks like. Give it a drink. Just gonna give it a little snug up with the impact. I haven't got a normal wrench here. That's fine. That's it. She should, as long as the air filter's not blocked, run. There's no choke on this. Is that full throttle or is that full throttle? I suppose that is. Let's go full throttle and see what happens. We have got oil. She runs. Oh, let's just do it again. Come on. Isn't that lovely? I tell you, having worked on those E-series engines, guys, these kind of classics and quantums are just, they're in a totally different league, non-comparable. Just a little tickle. And again, quick pull, full throttle. There she is. Let's zoom you out. So here it is. This had a 300E series Briggs on the mower, and it's a fairly new mower. It hasn't had much use, but you can see the wheels are worn down, so it's probably been used a fair bit around concrete. But I took that mower off because it was junk. He had actually ran it low on oil. My advice to anyone that wants to buy a mower, stay well clear of the E-series, the 300, the 450, the 500, the 550 I think as well. I can't quite remember them all. Get yourself a classic, a quantum. You're not going to have any issues. I tell you what, you will rot the decks out before you destroy those engines, as long as you keep them oiled up. But they don't drink oil anything like the E-series. So this Quantum is just, it's delightful. And it goes so beautifully with the red deck. Catches new. And so we had to drill the damaged bolt out, put the new engine on, put it all back together. I had to, while you was off camera, I had to put the rope back on because I cut it off and it sucked it up, of course. So I've put that back on. We had to cut the blade carrier or the blade adapter because it didn't fit. That now fits. It's all nice and tight. So really, this mower is now ready for a full service, a full overhaul. That's going to be ropes, going to be changed, recoil's going to be cleaned, carb's going to be taken apart, tank's going to be flushed, blade's going to be sharpened and balanced. I might even check the valve clearance. I might even paint it. It depends how visible and ugly the paint is. It's minimal down there. You can't really see it. I might even just leave it. It's probably not going to be worth my time. When everything else is cleaned up, I think it's going to look really good. And there's nothing wrong with it down there. But gosh, there we go. What a mess. I need to have an ice cream and then I'm going to tidy up. But hey, it went from drilling out a bolt all the way through to retrofitting another engine on a totally different mower. It's never been designed for it, but it fits. It's huge. There's going to be a lot more power in this than the little E-series, I think. I don't know the exact horsepower of these engines, but it's certainly larger. But it fits like a glove. Fits beautifully. Then we have this one as well. You can see how much smaller the engine is on that compared to that. That's kind of funny. In fact, most of the deck is taken up with engine. Catcher is new. Once I've given it a wash, a paint, it's going to look fantastic. So let's just start it up one more time. Give it a really good drink. See if we can get running for a few seconds. These are just such fantastic engines. They really are. They really are, guys. I can't express it enough. Beautiful.